places.
You've been that many places.
Oh, I have. This is my 6th, I think.
And best.
Yeah.
Oh, she said yes. You all heard it.
I mean, they're all
all
very
places you've been has been very diverse.
Yes, and Katie knows all the places I've been, and not one is bad.
Yeah.
They're different.
They're different.
And they have different standards and different boundaries that, they put in place, if you will. But I've not been to a barn that hasn't had some sort of drama.
Yeah. Same.
Besides
I'm very
my
blessed.
own.
I've never had barn.
When I owned my own.
Yeah.
That was the only other one. But that's different. So that's a big one for me. Being able to come out here and not feel judged.
Yeah.
Not feel like you have to please anybody, if you want to put it that way.
Sure.
But and not feel criticized and that people are talking about me behind the back.
Or always on the spot.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, I could.
Sometimes when you're a professional.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that was
Amy
my concern.
established that for me.
And that was good.
Yeah, it was. It meant a lot to me to know that I can come out here and do my thing and not be bombarded, if you will. Not that I don't want to help everybody.
Of course.
I also want to spend time with my own horse.
But you need your time.
Yes.
And we need to respect that.
Yeah.
So I love coming out here and being able to show up and ride is a big difference, and I'm very blessed for that.
Yeah.
Blessed to have that and have such a great barn family and community around me. I think the boundaries you put in place are one of the biggest things you need as a barn owner, boarding facility owner,
Yeah.
manager.
And those
Expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're clear, they're upfront.
Yeah.
The rules apply equally to everyone.
Yeah.
And and you walk your talk.
You have to. Otherwise the drama creeps in. It just, I can't. I live here. I work here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here 16, 18, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And this is my happy place. I just don't want it. So if I let it sneak in, then all of a sudden it's affecting you. And it's affecting you.
And it can end up affecting Katie.
Everything. Sure.
Coming in from the outside.
Of course.
And then you hear drama and it's like,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am protective of that. I don't want to say above all else. I'm as protective of that, the barn drama, as I am of our horses. That is my priority. And if that means burning a bridge by asking somebody to leave because they're not getting it after we've had a conversation, then so be it. And chances are I will be the bad guy and I will be bad mouth, and you have at it and say whatever you want, because I'm done. I don't even want to know.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Well, and that's a reflection on them.
Right.
And how they mishandle.
Right.
But I think what's great is you did the interview.
Right.
And that said a lot to me, and I know I've said this before, is when, I messaged with you and then we scheduled the time and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. She's interviewing me. She wants to know so much about my horse.
Well, and you should be interviewing me.
Well, I had
so
no
many
list.
people are like, do you have the opening? I need to move. And it's like, why do you need to move that urgently? And
And I had my checklist.
You had your list. And I love that because
Yeah.
I'm a list girl.
Yeah. And I but it was great because you cared enough about your barn and your folks to say, is this person and her horse a good fit?
Yeah. It matters.
It does
Our
matter.
barn was similar in a laughing way, where she was our neighbor.
Yep.
And so I was always waving to her, because at that time I had lost my gelding but hadn't gotten Zoe yet. And but I was also still working in racing. So I was gone 40 weeks out of the year, 3 to 4 days a week. And so I needed my horse in my backyard. And so I had always waved to Palmy as I was walking the dog. And then one day I called because she has a sign. And so I called and said, hey, this is the girl that walks the dog that I waved to. I'm your neighbor. I said, I'm getting a horse. Do you have any openings for board? And she's like, oh, well, I don't do what's on my sign. I was like, I promise I won't be a pain. I'm gone more than I'm home. I just need her close by. And she's like, well, come on over, because we're rustic. It's very similar to out here at Leatherman Lane, is that we're rustic. We're back to nature. The horses live out. It's exactly how my horses grew up back home. So I walked onto the farm and I was like, oh, this is home.
Yeah.
And it's really blossomed into a beautiful friendship where they're like parents to me. They didn't know they were going to adopt a daughter and a granddaughter, and it's a beautiful relationship now. But it's no drama. There's no board. I mean, we have a handful of boarders, but we see each other very rarely. But all of our horses are happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the priority.
And
that's the goal.
And even though I'm out there every day and I help Palmy take care of the horses, when I go on vacation, it's not well, who's going to take care of the barn, because I know Palmy is there to take care of the horses regardless. Or when Palmy wants to go away, she knows I'm here to always take care of. So it's that good partnership, and yet I can not have to do it in a snowstorm tomorrow morning or whatever the situation may be.
And that's a good point. And I boarded there actually very briefly, so I kind of forget about it, honestly. So you can add that to my list. So it was only a few months between the previous place I was at to our farm, and I went out there to check the place out and met with Palmy, and the same as you, she had boundaries, and I even asked if I could change a couple things, not change her boundaries, but hey, can I change something about feed? And she's like, nope, sorry. You know, she was very nice about it, but she's like, this is how we feed, this blah 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 blah, and okay, and I'm fine, you know, and I was fine, and I understand that having to do that, and I understood it even more than when I had my own place, and I respect it that much more than I already did, because it's so important. You're not doing it to be rude, or to not want to change, but you have your reasons, and as long as you explain your reasons, great. And if it didn't work for me, I wouldn't have ordered it.
Sure. And that's the thing, you have the choice. There are so many great options and some really crappy ones in this area. No, I'm just kidding. That you have the choice, and you should explore all your options and see what works for you. This is not a public facility. This is a private residence. I just happen to adopt people and their horses and let them into our little family. You know, so I get to pick and choose. But then if I'm choosing you, you're choosing me too. It's based on a, 30 to 90 minute conversation. So hopefully we're both doing it right. But it's a choice, you know.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is so much of when situations don't work out is there can be a bad mouthing that comes to play. But horse owners have to understand the responsibility and the weight that horse barn owners and board owners take on.
So
That's a good
because
point.
there's so much of, like, you can stand back as an owner and judge. But the bottom line is you are doing the best you can. You're on 365 days, 24 hours a day. The work of the farm falls on you. Regardless of how many people or helpers you have, is the responsibility and the weight that owning a farm has. There needs to be a deeper level of appreciation for all owners. And I can say, like, Palmy does phenomenal, and I even don't feel like at times that I show my gratitude enough. Because she takes care of my babies. And she does. You take care of them all the time. And they become yours.
All of these horses are mine.
I joke, I'm like, I have 2 horses, and yet I've got 20 that we take care of because that farm does become part of me. I don't pay the bills. My name's not on it, but it's a piece of you. Just like here is a piece of
What's investing? That was kind of
last time that was
there
like
was a
the
word
recurring
that we
theme.
talked about.
I am wholeheartedly invested in my people and their horses. I have 2 boarders right now that are building properties and will eventually bring their horses home. And I have 9 months to a year and a half to wrap my head around that. And I'm devastated. This one being one of them, right? And I'm like, or you could just live here, right? I'll live in the Airstream. You can have my house. Don't go. And then another one came to me the other day. Hey, can we talk? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? Thinking some stuff with the horse. What's going on? We're going to start building on our property. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Like, great news. I'm not even wrapping my head around it. Yeah, it's, in like 9 months or so. And I'm like, well, wait, where's the property? Winston-Salem. And I'm like, oh, you're going to miss your horse? But you're giving me 9 months notice? That's amazing. Diana. Oh my God, I miss Diana. She's in Denver, Colorado. But when she first started talking about that 2 years before they actually moved, I was like, well, you can still visit Roland. That's fine. You're not taking my horse, right?
And Palmy said that.
Right.
Because we own land in Iron Station.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, so you're going to put the horses out there? And I'm like, nope.
Nope. Right.
I'm like, never mind the fact that that's where we run the program out of, but I'm like, no.
Yeah.
They're safe. They're happy. I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I'm close enough where I'm not going to be moving them. I know what it takes to own your own farm.
Yeah, do you want them at home?
I don't want it,
Yeah.
no. I joked that land was always going to be the retirement place for my old guys.
Yeah.
Because I would love every day with my old guys.
Yeah.
But I have every day with my old guys because I'm not my farm.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Or,
or
yeah.
I can keep boarding, keep
Right.
taking care of them, and have them safe at home.
Well, how much more do you ride now that you board versus having them at home?
A lot more.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I did make it a point to ride often,
Mhm.
but there'd be days I'd get home from work and I'm like, I'll just go feed.
Yeah.
You know, clean the dry lot and call it.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm tired, or I have 10,000 other things to do around the property.
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are work days, they're not rest days.
Yeah.
So if I could find an hour to go on a short trail ride, I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
it
feel
is-
that.
It's very difficult. And a good friend of mine told me, you know, when you own your property, which I knew this, so I've learned from many different people.
Sure.
When you own your own property, you probably won't ride as much. And I knew that, but I
Sure.
was also like, well, you know, I'll make the time.
I'll make the
I'll
time.
be different.
Absolutely.
No.
Yep.
I would try, and I got better,
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up realizing that, and I learned this from others where they didn't even tell me. I just watched their situation. I learned that I didn't want to run a boarding facility, and that's what I wanted to do since I was 18 and started training.
Yeah.
I wanted to run a boarding and training facility and have a lesson program and do it full time. I did it for a year. And I'm not, Dusty and I are not afraid of hard work,
Yeah.
But-
Oh, totally.
but I wasn't losing my passion for my horses, but I could see it coming in the future.
It's exhausting.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
exhausting. I was losing my passion for training the horse on site and giving beginner lessons. And so, anyways, it helped me find my passion, which is giving horsemanship-based lessons to adults for the most part.
Yep.
That's what I enjoy. I love the psychology of it, the intricacy of it.
Right.
And that I
Definitely.
just, as we speak.
There they go. They're running at
Watch them.
something.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's so important to
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
what you like and what you don't
Yes.
like, because when I was transitioning out of racing and going into the horses, I knew I didn't want to train. I
Right.
had trained, I had given lessons, I had done all that. I got the gold star, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
And then I thought about back to what my uncle had always said is, without a healthy hoof, you don't have a horse.
Mhm.
And I was like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
And then I started going to school and learning, and I'm like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And then to transition into, with the therapy and the coaching program being so much bigger, it's like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's ironic because as much as I love to ride and train and work horses, none of my businesses are formed around that training or blue ribbon or
Mhm.
that side of the horses.
Mhm.
You know, it's performance in the sense of their feet and body, but it's so much more beyond that. And I'm like, nope. And you say you work with horses, everybody automatically thinks, oh, well, you show,
You
or
show.
you
Yes.
train, or you own a boarding barn. And I'm like, nope, I don't do any of
What
that.
do you ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope, I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
No, I love cleaning stalls. I love doing all the barn work, but nope, I'm
No
good.
thanks.